My boyfriend has a full head of hair, yet he insists on wearing a wig and strictly forbids me from touching it. Once, when we were deep in a romantic moment, I couldn't resist gently tugging at his hair. To my shock, he flew into a rage and slapped me across the face with tremendous force. Olivia, any man who raises a hand against you is not worth keeping, no matter how handsome he is. He's trash, my best friend Lily said, her eyes red with anger and pity. She was applying aloe vera gel to my cheek while trying to pull me towards the phone to call the police. That Lucas is absolutely vicious. Let's call the police right now, come on. Lucas's slap had left me dazed, tears streaming down my face like a broken string of pearls. He was usually so gentle, so kind, refined, and handsome, the ideal boyfriend, apart from being unemployed. How could he have turned into this? The more I thought about it, the more humiliated I felt. I hugged Lily and sobbed, recounting how he hit me. I just tugged at his wig, I didn't even damage it. Did he really need to get that furious? Wah. Lily's body trembled slightly. She lifted my head from her shoulder, her eyes suddenly serious. I remember Lucas having a lot of hair, so it was a wig all along, I sobbed. He already has a thick head of hair, he really doesn't need to wear one. But the wig was dark and looked very real, yet he insisted on wearing it. The more Lily listened, the more suspicious she became. So, how long has this been going on? I blinked, trying to remember. Since we started dating, he's always been like that. He said his hair wasn't good enough, so wearing the wig made him feel more secure. Lily was speechless for a few moments. Oh my God, you're so naive. He has plenty of hair, but wears a wig. Does he want to look taller? Think about it, doesn't that seem extremely strange to you? I sniffled and asked, then why do you think it is? Lily frowned in thought. Earlier, you said you touched it when he was showering, right? Was there anything unusual about that wig? I squinted, trying to recall. It looked like any other wig sold in stores, except for a few strands that were uneven in length, making it look a bit messy. Nothing particularly special. The quality seemed good, and the lining was quite thick. Lily nearly choked. What? A wig with a asterisk lining? I nodded, continuing to remember. The lining was whitish red, and when I touched it, it felt soft and fleshy, a bit sticky. Lily turned as white as a sheet. She ripped off the big curly wig she was wearing, thrust it into my hands, revealing her dyed purple hair underneath. Look closely, what kind of wig has an asterisk lining? I turned the wig over and over in my hands, examining it. Maybe different brands, different styles. Some have it, some don't, silly. Lily lowered her voice, looking straight into my eyes. Listen, does that lining look like human scalp? Are there tiny blood vessels? I hesitated for a moment, then nodded slightly. Actually, I had found it strange at the time, but Lucas's slap was so sudden that I hadn't had a chance to look closely. And usually, wig glue is clear or pale white. But this wig's hair part was normal, while the underside was covered in tiny red streaks. At first glance, it really did resemble a real scalp. Lily slapped her thigh with a resounding thwack. I told you early on, Lucas is not good news. The key thing about his wig isn't the hair, it's the lining inside. That's not a lining at all, it's a Bai Tam Gioi, a soul-binding artifact made from the scalp of a dead person, stripped of its protein and formed. Lucas is definitely a wandering spirit. Without a Bai Tam Gioi covering his head, he can't manifest in human form. I was dumbfounded by what I heard. Ever since graduating, Lily hadn't found any proper work. She mainly relied on live streaming fortune-telling to make a living, wearing a mask, a hat, and adding a bit of smoke in the background to look the part. It wasn't that I disrespected traditional culture, but I honestly didn't believe in these ghost stories. Yet, for some reason, Lily had been in this line of work for so long that she spoke to everyone with a professional air. Now, looking at her, it felt like she was giving me a reading. But we were best friends, and I knew she had high self-esteem, hating to be contradicted, so I didn't want to upset her. Lily, even if you're right, why would Lucas do something like that? I met him when he had just lost his job. His handsome face immediately made my heart flutter, so I took it upon myself to cover all his living expenses. What's more, I even let him move in and live with me in my 350 square meter luxury riverside apartment. Seeing that I didn't believe her, Lily suddenly stared intensely at the top of my head. Have you noticed any hair loss lately? Every strand you lose, his wig gains one, because your hair follicles store all your information. Once he drains your vital essence and your hair falls out completely, Lucas will become asterisk you. I was vaguely confused. Become me, for what? Then he can freely use your assets without having to beg anymore, that's what? Lily looked straight into my eyes. He hit you because you accidentally touched his wig, causing all the vital essence he'd accumulated over time to be wasted. Duma hates wasting time. If he doesn't become you within half a year, he has to start his cultivation all over again. That's another 3 years. Half a year? I counted on my fingers. 3 days left. Honestly, I'd rather believe Lucas was just an abusive jerk than a Duma. Lily seemed to be getting a bit too much into character. I was about to try and smooth things over, but she became even more serious. You have to break up with him immediately, then come with me to find my master. We need to figure out how to subdue this ghost. We can't let him harm anyone else. I knew Lily's stubborn nature. She wouldn't shed tears until she saw the coffin. Seeing I hadn't responded, she snorted loudly. You don't believe me, do you? Then tonight, wait until he's fast asleep, secretly take off his wig, and see if he reveals his true form within 30 minutes. Good heavens, just moments ago she wanted to call the police, and now she was urging me to sleep in the same room as him. I teased her. Didn't you say he's draining my vital essence? First you want to take him to the police station, now you're telling me to sleep in the same room with him? Lily let out a long sigh. Because, Olivia, when you fall in love, you're an idiot, more enchanted by a handsome face than if you were under a spell. One apology from him, and you'll instantly melt. What's the point of my advice? Indeed, only your best friend truly understands you. She had met all my ex-boyfriends. From tanned sports students, models, boxers, to screw assembly factory workers, each had their own unique charm. Yet Lily never truly liked any of them. She always seemed guarded. It was only with Lucas that, although she still criticized him, her criticism seemed more subdued. Every time I boasted about our affection, her words were filled with disdain, saying he was a freeloader, gentle on the surface but manipulative inside, and that I, blinded by his looks, would soon be harmed. So what? My money could buy cars, houses, designer bags, so of course, it could buy a handsome man. How I chose to spend it was my right. I was truly too much in love with Lucas's face. One look and I couldn't stay angry. Seeing Lily's furious expression, I couldn't help but reach out and gently tap the tip of her nose. Aren't I supposedly having my vital essence drained by him? So what should I do now? My master possesses profound spiritual power. As long as you cooperate, your vital essence is guaranteed to be 100% restored. Lily suddenly changed the subject. Tell me the truth, you can be in love, at worst it's just heartbreak, but have you given him any money? I shook my head. I'm very tight-fisted with my money. Besides, Lily, who was still single, often joked with me that if we didn't get married, we'd both end up in a nursing home dancing the cha-cha when we were old. Having money in hand made my heart feel secure. My money, I was saving it to live a beautiful old age with my best friend. Hearing this, Lily's expression finally relaxed. She reminded me repeatedly to call her immediately if anything happened, and only then did she leave. No sooner had she left than Lucas returned, head bowed. His hands were full of snacks, bubble tea, and even some grilled food, which made me feel awkward and unsure how to react. Thinking of the earlier slap, I felt even more humiliated. I sniffled, ignoring him completely. Before long, Lucas knelt down, tears streaming down his face. I'm so sorry, my love. I was out of line. I shouldn't have laid a hand on you. You're always the one I cherish, and you've been so good to me. Olivia, I was wrong. Lucas's skin was as white as snow, his almond-shaped eyes reddening at the corners when he cried, making him look so vulnerable it was heartbreaking. A scene of snow falling in a plum garden would be no more moving. Seeing that I didn't recoil, he grew bolder. He pulled me into his arms, kissing me little by little while I wrapped my arms around his neck. My fingers touched the pulse at his neck. Suddenly, I remembered Lily's words about wandering spirits. I couldn't help but inwardly chuckle. What kind of wandering spirit could be so clearly touched, seen, warm, soft, and firm? After a while of intimate cuddling, Lucas, breathless, kissed my forehead and went into the bathroom. Be good, I'll go get you a wet towel. He then entered the bathroom without taking off his wig. He fell asleep very soundly, snoring almost immediately after lying down. Under the moonlight, I gazed at Lucas's face, almost drooling. His thick eyebrows, high nose bridge, and sharp jawline were truly captivating. I admired him for a while, then remembered Lily's words. Maybe I should try it. My eyes drifted to the wig neatly placed on his head. Just as I was about to reach out and touch it, my nose suddenly felt itchy. I raised my hand to tuck my hair behind my ear. Wait a minute, Why did the entire section of hair I just touched fall out in a clump? The moonlight shone down, each strand of hair starkly visible. I turned my head in horror towards Lucas. He had been snoring loudly moments ago, but now his eyes were wide open, staring at me. His gaze was empty, and the corners of his mouth twisted into a chilling, distorted smile. My heart immediately leaped into my throat, and I unconsciously recoiled. What was worse was that Lucas's eyes seemed to possess a demonic power. Staring at him, I couldn't utter a single sound. The 2.3-meter wide bed offered no escape now. I could only watch helplessly as Lucas, grinning like a puppet, slowly crawled towards me. At the same time, long black clumps of hair inexplicably began to sprout from the wig on his head. Lucas smiled, but his voice echoed strangely. "Olivia, didn't anyone teach you not to carelessly pry into things that don't belong to you?" He reached out towards my hair. "I think your hair is beautiful. Truly. You have it, and I lack it." The smile vanished. He suddenly grabbed my hair tightly, yanked it back, and his hoarse voice continuously roared, "Give it to me, give it here, give it to me." The pain was like my scalp being ripped apart, making me scream. "What are you yelling about? Did you go cow stealing last night? I can't even get my kid to wake up." Lily's annoyed voice echoed in my ear. My whole body trembled. I jolted awake. The first thing I did was reach up and touch my head, my heart still pounding wildly. Thank goodness, my hair was still there, my scalp intact. My head hadn't flown off anywhere. But I clearly remembered how violently Lucas had grabbed my hair last night. Still shaken, I saw Lily sitting opposite me, cross-legged, glaring. "Is the task I gave you done?" My heart hadn't returned to normal yet, so I couldn't speak for a moment. Lily grew impatient. "Tell me, did you manage to hide Lucas's wig last night? Did he reveal his true form?" I blushed, stammering out a summary of what happened last night. As expected, I was thoroughly scolded afterward. She berated me for being so infatuated with a man that I didn't care about my own life. I was so embarrassed I wanted to disappear, but I still argued stubbornly. "It's not my fault. Lucas treats that wig like gold. I couldn't even touch it, let alone hide it." Lily's face darkened. "Idiot, leave it to me." Just then, Lucas returned, his complexion rosy. Seeing Lily, he greeted her warmly. "I just went to buy breakfast. I'll cook it soon, and the three of us can eat together." Lily merely nodded vaguely, then unexpectedly suggested, "Lucas, Olivia said she wants hot pot. Cooking it at home will make everything smell, so why don't we go out to eat? My treat." Lucas paused slightly, turning to look at me as if waiting for my opinion. I reluctantly nodded. Go, 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 let me treat." No sooner had we sat down at the hot pot restaurant than Lily glared at Lucas. "Let's order some juices, shall we? Olivia, what do you want to drink?" "Fresh coconut." Lucas immediately stood up. "I'll go get it." While he was gone, I whispered to Lily, "What exactly are you planning?" Lily's face paled slightly. "Didn't you say he wouldn't take off his wig no matter what? I'm trying to find a way to make him take it off." I vaguely felt something was wrong and was about to tell Lily to stop when Lucas returned, his face as bright as if nothing had happened. He placed 2 coconuts on the table. "Drink up. I chose room temperature ones for you both." "Thanks." Lily quickly grabbed one, but she was too forceful. The coconut flew straight towards Lucas's forehead. Since I was standing and he was sitting, his hand was raised high above his head. If it had followed its trajectory, the coconut would definitely have hit his head directly. I gasped in horror. "Lucas!" But what happened next left me speechless. The coconut suddenly changed direction midair, completely missing him. Not even a single strand of his hair was displaced. "Lily, you're so strong. That coconut is heavy, but you threw it like a plastic ball?" Lucas chuckled, a laugh that sent a chill down my spine. Was it exactly the same? It was even scarier than the smile I'd seen in my half-waking dream last night. I turned to look at Lily. She was both furious and embarrassed, standing rooted to the spot, her face as dark as the bottom of a pot. Wiping my sweat, I quickly pulled Lily down to sit, trying to ease the tense atmosphere, and swiftly put the coconut back in her hand. "You must not have slept well last night, huh? You can't even hold a coconut steady." Lily didn't respond, just pressed her lips tightly together, glaring at Lucas across the table. The atmosphere was suffocatingly awkward. Fortunately, the chef brought out the hot pot. "Careful, it's hot. This water will scald your skin instantly." But just as the chef raised the pot, I suddenly saw his expression change. He had been walking steadily, but suddenly his legs trembled uncontrollably. He staggered and then fell. Amidst the shouts of the surrounding customers, the chef cried out in pain and collapsed onto the floor. The hot pot in his hands slammed directly onto Lucas's head. I could only watch helplessly as the bubbling hot pot spilled all over his head. Just a few seconds later, Lucas's skin immediately blistered and turned fiery red. "Lucas!" I panicked, covering my mouth, my whole body frozen. The hot pot water was so hot, pouring it all over his head would surely cause severe burns, even disfigurement. Lucas lay trembling and sprawling on the floor, his head covered in chili and oil, water dripping everywhere. I frantically rushed to help wipe him clean. The restaurant guests erupted into chaos. Everyone turned their heads to look, some pulling out their phones to record. The restaurant manager frantically rushed over, dumping a bucket of cold water over Lucas, while some staff called the police and others called for an ambulance. My head was practically smoking with worry. As I looked up, I saw Lily standing to one side. "Lucas, stop pretending." Immediately after, Lily unexpectedly reached out and yanked the wig off Lucas's head. I was both furious and terrified, my voice rising several tones. "Lily, what are you doing?" Even at this point, she's still trying to test whether Lucas is human or not. She's been doing fortune-telling for too long, she must have gone crazy. After snatching the wig, Lily immediately grabbed my hand tightly and pulled me outside. "Lucas will be fine, come with me." I was seething with anger, about to argue, but I was already being dragged away, stumbling. "Lucas is so badly burned, I have to stay and take care of him, then take him to the hospital, stop pulling." "No." Lily's voice was firm and harsh. Her strength suddenly became terrifying. My wrist ached from her grip, but my feet were still being dragged. Before long, I was pulled away from the crowd. I couldn't help but turn my head to look towards Lucas, only for Lily to slap my back hard. "Lucas isn't afraid of burns, but he's lost his Bai Tam Gioi. Within half an hour, he'll reveal his true form." I was so furious, I stopped mincing my words. I yanked my hand free from hers, my hand trembling as I pointed straight at her face. "True form, reveal form, Lily. Have you gotten so immersed in being a medium that you're addicted? What did Lucas ever do to you that you have to humiliate him like this? If you're really as psychic as people say, why aren't you rich yet?" In truth, the moment the boiling hot pot spilled onto Lucas, I had already made up my mind. If he needed skin grafts, if he needed full-body plastic surgery, I would pay for everything. I would absolutely not abandon him. Hearing me say that, the corners of Lily's eyes reddened. She sniffled but stubbornly dragged me into the restroom. "Olivia, what you're worrying about won't happen. The ambulance has arrived. We'll just hide in here, don't answer your phone. Luckily, we got the wig. Very soon, you'll know if I'm right or wrong." I looked at her unwavering gaze and her excited manner as she flipped the wig over and over, and I couldn't help but feel nauseous. "That fall just now, it wasn't an accident, was it?" I grabbed Lily's arm. "Did you do something to distract the chef?" Lily pressed her lips together, looking at me, neither confirming nor denying. "It's all for your own good, Olivia." I was about to go mad. Just as I tried to open the restroom door, I realized her back was pressed tightly against the doorknob. I couldn't reach it at all. I was so angry I was trembling. As I was about to push her away with force, the siren of an ambulance blared outside. This was followed by the rattling sound of stretcher wheels on the ground and a doctor's loud shout. "Clear the way, get out of the way, bring the stretcher." Hearing the chaotic sounds outside, I felt a partial sense of relief. Someone was coming to save Lucas. He would be all right. Just then my phone rang. As I was about to answer, Lily snatched it away. "It's definitely Lucas calling to get his wig back, don't answer it." I was both annoyed and anxious. "How do you know it's him? What if it's the hospital calling? How can he get admitted without a family member's consent? What if delaying makes it too late?" "If it's delayed, he won't need to be admitted at all." Lily cut me off coldly, her hand still tightly clutching the wig. "Listen, Lucas doesn't need treatment. He just needs to disappear. He only has 20 minutes left." I snorted through my nose, straining my arm to hold onto the door crack, trying to peek outside. "Lucas is being put on the stretcher, Lily. All of this is your fault." Lily snorted, still blocking the door with her back, absolutely refusing to let me out. "Don't worry, I'm not harming you. Before the ambulance even reaches the hospital, Lucas will have disappeared." I glared at her. Even at this point, she was still making excuses. "Our friendship ends here. Get out of the way." "No." Lily didn't move until there was a knock at the door. "Olivia, are you in there?" I jumped. It was Lucas's voice. I immediately pushed Lily aside and flung open the door. He stood there, still stained with hot pot residue, his face contorted in pain. "Olivia, someone help me clean up a bit. I want to go home and take a shower." I was stunned. That hot pot water was enough to cause severe burns, but looking at Luca's, apart from his forehead and neck being slightly red, there wasn't a single burn mark. A chill immediately ran down my spine. Luca's, does it hurt? He bared his teeth in a smile. My skin is thick, it doesn't burn. I felt even more horrified, goosebumps rising on my skin. Beside me, Lily unexpectedly linked her arm through mine, smiling sweetly. Since you're okay, you should go home and rest early. Also, my parents aren't home tonight, so can I borrow my girlfriend for a bit? I wished she would just drag me away immediately, and luckily, she did. We ran straight to Lily's house. As soon as we entered, she poured me a glass of iced water, watched me gulp it all down, and then asked, "Do you believe me now?" I shivered, recalling Lucas's spine-chilling smile from earlier, and could only nod stiffly. "You're staying here tonight, the wig is here now. Logically, Lucas should be in trouble soon. It's been exactly half an hour." My heart was thumping like a trapped rabbit. I wanted to call him but didn't dare, unable to sit still. It was good that Lucas wasn't burned, but I also didn't want him to truly vanish like smoke. But if he wasn't a wandering spirit as Lily claimed, then why was he completely unharmed after an entire pot of boiling water was poured on his head? Thinking about this, my head began to throb again, and I quickly reached up to rub my temples. Lily, observant, handed me another glass of water, this time with soothing, warm honey. "You must be in shock. It's okay, go take a nap in my bed. I'll sleep in the living room tonight." I drifted off to sleep, unaware of when, until I vaguely heard voices from the living room. The female voice was Lily's, and the male voice wasn't at Lucas's. I only heard Lily sounding anxious. "What do? We still haven't gotten it." Lucas comforted her. "Don't worry, Olivia is stupid. Just a little more effort, and everything will definitely fall into our hands." How intimate. I choked, unable to breathe, and immediately sprang up, heading out. A figure blocked my path, and I nearly bumped into him. Looking up, I was almost frozen by a single glance. It wasn't Lucas, but this man was truly too handsome, even more so than Lucas. I saw the handsome stranger subtly clear his throat. "Are you Olivia, the girlfriend of a ghost?" I was stunned again. He looked as young as a university student, yet his voice was like an old man's. Just then, Lily poked her head out from behind him, affectionately squeezing in beside him. "Olivia, this is my master Zhao. Don't let his young face fool you, he's actually 75 years old." "Oh my God, mother." I instinctively took a step back, but the handsome man moved closer. "Lily called you here to replenish your vital energy. I see your spirit is indeed unstable. But if you want to replenish your vital energy, at the very least, you must collect the lingering remnants of your boyfriend's soul." Master Zhao's almond-shaped eyes swept over me, completely devoid of emotion. I asked Lily. He didn't go to the hospital but left in a hurry. It's likely because his wig was taken, making his soul unstable, and he wants to retrieve it to save his life. This is the perfect time to subdue him. I began to hesitate. Now I was both afraid of seeing Lucas again and afraid of never seeing him again. While I was still conflicted, the doorbell rang. Lily's face immediately changed, and even Master Zhao looked surprised. "Did you invite someone?" Lily shook her head, and just as she was about to speak, a voice from outside called out, "Olivia, are you in there?" I nearly jumped. It was Lucas. I lunged towards the door, but Lily held me back. "Are you crazy? Opening the door now is practically handing yourself over." Master Zhao also said, "When a spirit is about to dissipate, its spiritual power will greatly increase. If you interact with him now, you'll only suffer consequences." I ignored everything. I yanked my hand free and flung the door open. I had had enough of this master-disciple duo and their lifelong superstitions. Outside stood Lucas in clean clothes, looking a bit pale but with panicked eyes. He immediately hugged my shoulders tightly. "Olivia, thank goodness you're alive." In that moment, between my best friend of over a decade and my handsome boyfriend, I chose the handsome boyfriend. I didn't resist at all, letting him pull me downstairs. Only when we reached the roadside did I quickly ask, "Lucas, quickly, show me your burns." He gave a forced smile, bowing his head to let me unbutton his collar and look. I saw only wrinkled, red-raw skin on his neck. It had been hidden by his shirt at the hot pot restaurant, so I hadn't seen it. The moment I touched it, Lucas flinched in pain. "I was afraid you'd worry, and I was afraid Lily would harm you. That's why I didn't go to the hospital." Lucas gritted his teeth, gasping, his face contorted in agony. "My love, but I can't bear it anymore. I still have to go to the hospital. I'm not made of iron." My nose stung with tears. "It's okay, we'll find the best burn specialist for you to treat it." Lucas hugged me, comforting me, then unexpectedly asked, full of hidden meaning, "Olivia, did Lily tell you I'm a wandering spirit? And that if I lose my wig, I'll vanish?" I was caught off guard by his direct question, frozen in place. Seeing my silence, he became even gentler, his voice deep and warm. "It's okay, Olivia, I don't blame you for this. Let me show you something, you'll understand after you see it." It was a lawsuit document. The defendant, Lily. The amount owed made my jaw drop, 50 million yuan. Your best friend probably just returned from overseas last year, right? She and a man named Zhao have been sued by a company. Perhaps she knows you're naturally generous with your money and was afraid you'd give your assets to me, so she was eager to push me away, wanting to monopolize you completely. Zhao? I was startled again. Wasn't that the master Lily had just brought home? The one whose voice and physique were so similar to Lucas's. I looked at the lawsuit document. At first, I was still half believing, even reporting my schedule to her whenever I went out with my boyfriend. At the time, I just thought she was worried I was naive and easily deceived, but now, recalling it, the more I thought, the more something felt wrong. My nose stung with tears. Lily was my best friend. We were so close we told each other everything. With my current financial situation, if she needed it, I would truly be willing to help in part. So why would she choose to deceive me and even fabricate ghost stories to scare me, knowing how much I feared such things? I reached up to wipe my tears. Lily told me your wig isn't a wig, but something called a Bai Tam Gioi, that if it's taken away, you'll... Lucas gently stroked my cheek. "I'll vanish into thin air, right? If you like those kinds of stories, I can tell you 100 fairy tales." He was almost certain that the hot pot incident was Lily intentionally trying to scare the waiter when he brought it out. He gave a bitter laugh. Luckily, it didn't hit my face. Seeing him try to joke while suppressing his pain, my heart melted. "You've suffered so much. I'm going to cut ties with Lily. She's too malicious. But please explain one thing to me. Why didn't you let me touch your wig?" Lucas gave another forced smile. "All right, I'll tell you, but promise not to be scared." I nodded, watching him raise his hand to his head and take off a wig, revealing a completely bald head. What I was wearing wasn't any Bai Tam Gioi. It was just a normal wig to hold down the real wig underneath. Lucas was a little embarrassed, mumbling, "Inside is my father's real hair, the only thing I have left of him. I feel safer carrying it with me every day. To protect it, I had to wear another layer on top." Hearing this, I completely understood. Ever since his father, Uncle Lucas, passed away, he had always lived reclusively and quietly. Now, recalling it, his explanation made perfect sense. Lucas's bitter chuckle echoed in my ear again. "Lily has been watching you closely, so you wouldn't fall into anyone else's hands, even fabricating ghost stories." He stroked my head, sighing, "Olivia, you need to be more vigilant. Honestly, people often see others through their own lens. For example, now I'm 90% certain that your best friend is the one with the problem. She's the real wandering spirit." I froze on the spot. Lily is the one trying to steal from me. Just then, a voice rang out from behind. "How long are you two going to whisper?" A familiar voice echoed from behind us. I jumped, quickly turning around, only to see Lily and her master, Zhao, standing side by side, both wearing bright smiles. But I shivered. Why did that smile look so familiar? Wasn't it exactly like Lucas's smile in that nightmare under the moonlight? A chill ran down my spine. I couldn't help but take a step back. Lily still waved at me. "It's hot downstairs. Since you're here, come up and sit for a bit." "Both of you come up?" The four of us stood facing each other, our gazes meeting, taut as a violin string. I couldn't take it anymore. On one side was my boyfriend, on the other my best friend, both accusing the other of being a wandering spirit. Then let's sit down and confront each other, clear things up. And just as I couldn't believe Lucas was a demon when he accused Lily, I was just as enraged. We stepped inside the house. Lily casually locked the door, then handed me a glass of honey water. "Drink it." I looked at the glass in my hand, then instinctively glanced at Lucas. "What's wrong? Don't dare to drink it." Lily's eyes immediately reddened. "Are you afraid I've poisoned it?" I didn't know what to say. The 2 glasses of water she had given me earlier had indeed made my heart pound uncomfortably. I was racking my brain, trying to find a way to refuse without hurting her, when Lucas smiled, reached out, and took the glass, emptying it. "Olivia is on her period. She shouldn't drink cold things. I'll drink it for you." After drinking it, he even let out a soft burp. Who would have thought that less than 5 seconds later, Lucas's face would change dramatically? He clutched his stomach, groaning in pain. I panicked and quickly supported him. "What's wrong, Lucas?" Sweat poured from his forehead like rain. He trembled, struggling to raise a hand and point at the honey water glass. The water, there's something wrong with it. I slowly lifted my head to look at Lily and Master Zhao. They were staring at each other with wide eyes. Lily cried out, "Olivia, it wasn't me, the water is perfectly normal." But I couldn't believe her. It was the same honey water, yet every time there was a problem, and the person affected was always Lucas. I watched his face grow paler and paler, his breathing becoming weaker. My mind went completely blank. I quickly pulled out my phone to call 120 emergency. But just as the phone connected, the back of my neck suddenly throbbed as if pierced by a needle. I panicked, raising my hand to clutch my neck, trying to turn my head to see who it was. But before I could turn, my neck felt as if something had stuck to it, completely unable to move. Lucas, having lost his support, collapsed heavily onto the floor. A loud thud echoed. I burst into desperate sobs. "Lucas, please, open your eyes and look at me just once. It's all my fault." If I hadn't doubted him, I wouldn't have come to Lily's house. If I hadn't come here, Lucas wouldn't have rushed here to save me. And then, he wouldn't have died. At that exact moment, my phone fell from my hand. Lily, meanwhile, suddenly broke into a smile. "Now you understand, Olivia. You should be thanking me. Out of friendship, I let you live this long, and you even got to sleep with such a handsome man." My eyes wide, I watched her pull out Lucas's wig from behind her back as if performing a magic trick. "You're looking for this, aren't you?" Then she boldly ripped off the purple wig on her own head and threw it to the ground. I was still stunned, not understanding what she was doing, when with another tug, yet another wig was removed. "Olivia, look closely. This is the real Bai Tam Gioi." Lily forcefully threw the jet black wig onto my lap. I jumped as if electrocuted, recoiling and screaming, feeling as though something filthy was crawling all over me. Seeing my reaction, Lily smirked triumphantly. "Scared now? Olivia, do you really not remember what you did to us? All we want to reclaim now is what you owe us, nothing more, nothing less." After saying this, she picked up my phone and tightly covered my mouth. Master Zhao dialed a number and made a call. "Someone has suddenly fallen ill in apartment 6902 in the beloved home residential area. Please send help immediately." As soon as he finished speaking, he hung up and bent down to touch Lucas's neck. "Still warm? Hurry!" Hearing this, Lily slowly approached me, one hand grabbing my hair tightly, the other swinging up and striking my face like a knife. I was knocked to the ground and lost consciousness. When I woke up, my head was still spinning. A strange male voice sounded nearby. Under the lamp, the police badge on his shoulder faintly reflected the light. "Ms. Olivia, Lily has died. May I ask what exactly happened yesterday?" Instinctively, I reached up and touched my head, breathing a sigh of relief. It was neat, shoulder-length short hair, clear-headed. "Good, I am Olivia." "Olivia, you're awake?" someone called me. I couldn't help but turn to look and nearly screamed. Gently smiling at me was Master Zhao. Under his gaze, I slowly recounted the entire events of that day. "The person who drank the honey water was Lucas. I know nothing about what happened afterward. You should check the water glass and cup. I suspect it contained poison." As I said this, I wiped away tears and sniffled. The police officer stared at me. "You mean your best friend poured that honey water for you, but your boyfriend ended up drinking it?" I nodded, wiping my nose and sniffling. The police officer nodded. "We have investigated this. The water glass contained no poison. Mr. Lucas died of acute myocardial infarction, just like your friend named Lily." I nearly blurted out, "Impossible." I knew my own body very well. I had never had heart problems, always healthy and active. The police officer closed his notebook, looking deeply at me as if trying to penetrate my thoughts. "Then why would your best friend want to harm you? Do you have any clues?" Suddenly, Master Zhao cleared his throat softly beside me. I immediately understood he was reminding me not to speak too much, so I quickly fell silent. As soon as the police officer left, I immediately turned to Master Zhao. "Master, can't you use Lucas's body? Why not just switch into it?" Master Zhao paused for a moment, then burst into laughter. "You heard it yourself. Lucas died of a myocardial infarction. It's a diseased body. I can't use it. Oh well, what a pity." I tried moving Olivia's fingers. Her body was so slender, her fingers long and beautiful. Too bad she had the looks but not the brains. Well, my half-sister has enjoyed luxury for so many years. Now it's my turn. A month later, I was discharged from the hospital. To avoid attracting attention, Master Zhao and I temporarily lived separately. I moved into Olivia's villa. Her spending habits were as lavish as water. Having money was truly wonderful. While enjoying this life, I also helped Master Zhao find a new body. Very quickly, I found someone. His name was Ethan, a bartender whose parents had passed away early. Tall, educated, and handsome. I invited him to the house because I remembered Master Zhao only had 3 days left before his soul would dissipate. We had worked so hard together all this time. How could I continue to live alone? At 8:00 p.m., Master Zhao arrived 30 minutes early. I was a little surprised. As I welcomed him into the house, I peeked around to see if anyone was watching. He poured me a glass of wine and raised his hand, inviting me to clink glasses. "Lily, no, Olivia, have a drink." I didn't usually drink alcohol, but I never expected Olivia's tolerance to be so good. I drank half a bottle, over a liter, and still wasn't drunk. After finishing the drink, I began to stumble through the house. Master Zhao walked behind me. "Do you like it here?" I felt a bit dizzy and collapsed onto the sofa. Of course I like it. I was dying of envy for Olivia. We clearly had the same father. Why did she get to live in luxury while my own father left me nothing? The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. I cried and sniffled. My mother died, and I was raised by a poor couple. From a young age, I wanted to reclaim everything that should have been mine. My voice began to twist into something strange and grotesque. The more she spent money on Lucas, the less we got. That's why I made up that wandering spirit story to scare her. Who knew that idiot would actually believe it, leading to Lucas's death? Suddenly, the back of my neck throbbed as if I'd been struck hard. "Who gave you permission to say that?" I struggled and screamed in pain. "Master Zhao, are you crazy?" The person behind me forced me to turn around, face to face. "Lily, look closely at who I am." When I clearly saw those eyes, I completely collapsed. Those eyes couldn't be faked. "Olivia, how could it be you? What did you do to Master Zhao?" The man with the rough hands gently stroked my face. "Lily, I never knew you were so smitten yourself. And as for Lucas, he never drank that honey water. I switched it and gave it to Master Zhao to drink. You stole my lover, so I'll steal yours." Olivia laughed, a chilling sound, and fear gripped my heart. A second later, it skipped a beat. I fell to the ground, writhing in agony. Just moments later, I was floating in midair while Olivia's body lay peacefully sleeping on the sofa. Olivia, in Master Zhao's body, stepped towards the door, her face beaming. Just then, the doorbell rang. "Ethan's here." I watched helplessly as Olivia's body stirred. She stood up, walked to the door, and smiled sweetly at the young man standing outside. "You've arrived."